For I will boast all the more gladly about my weakness, so that Christ's power may rest on me. When we continue, yet we allow God to use us anyway. We're letting him work through us in that moment. And we have a God who is faithful, a God who answers prayer. And even though it feels like he answers prayer, but it's eventually sometimes. I've felt like God has been telling me to wait. And after a time of prayer, and I went to the scripture, and it was so alive and so direct and so right there for me. It said, "Wait for the Lord. Be strong and take heart and wait for the Lord." Psalm 27:14. It could not have been more direct and more appropriate, and it was so encouraging for me in that moment. Now, for a 3-year-old, waiting an hour for something is a really long time. If you're in the ballpark of 72 years old, you're 24 times older than the 3-year-old. So, is it not that a day for you might be about the same as an hour for a 3-year-old? I think there's some relation there as to how long you've been around and how long something seems to take. We have an ageless, eternal God who has always been and who always will be, and for whom a day is like 1,000 years and 1,000 years is like a day. I worry that what seems like a short amount of time to God might be really long for me. But while I don't understand God's timing, I yield to him and trust that his timing is perfect. And I'm sure that all too often to God, I am like that impatient little person. And it's times when I can be patient with him that I think about God being patient with me. And apologies to my family and others when I have been impatient with them. So even if we wait our entire life for something that doesn't get resolved, our world is fallen and all creation groans. To have waited on God for his timing and for his will to be done is being faithful to him and obedient to him, and that will be eternally rewarded. A sure thing that the watchmen can count on while they're waiting for the night to be over is that the sun is coming. The morning will come. Psalm 27:14, the verse before the last one I read, says, "I remain confident of this, I will see the goodness of the Lord in the land of the living." With each moment of this coming year, let us hope with confidence to see the Lord's goodness in the land of the living.